2013 was a huge year for me when it comes to monitors because it's the first time I ever had a monitor with 1 millisecond of response time. I know that all of today's rave surrounds refresh rate, but back then everybody seemed to be crazy about response time. I immediately jumped on the Asus ship when they released some of the first monitors with 2 milliseconds of response time back in the Halo 3 days, but here it is, 2013, and BenQ just released a monitor with 1 millisecond of response time. There was no way I could wait any longer for this piece of the future. I rushed to my local Tiger Direct, a store that I'm not even sure exists anymore, and I told them all about the monitor that I was looking for. They told me it was out of stock, so I began to beg them to sell me the monitor that was on display. They eventually caved. Here I was, driving home with a monitor that wasn't even in its original box, but I didn't care. I had in my possession a monitor that had 1 millisecond of response time. It was a great day. Fast forward to 2017, I can't even remember the last quote-unquote esports/gaming monitor that was released with anything above 1 milliseconds of response time. That's nothing to be impressed about anymore because nowadays it's all about the refresh rate. If you game on a console, consider yourself lucky because you don't need to upgrade to one of these expensive beasts. However, console players are unlucky at the same time because they're brutally caged at 60 Hz. I play Call of Duty on the PS4 quite often, and it really is a terrible experience compared to its PC counterpart. When it comes to gaming on the computer, you really do need a monitor with a reasonably high refresh rate to take advantage of how smooth your games are actually running. I switched to a 144 Hz monitor late last year, and there's no way I could ever go back. Games at 60 Hz just feel choppy. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 3 of the best monitors that money can buy when it comes to playing Counter-Strike. I'm not going to get too technical in this video, I'm not Linus, but I will start off by stating that these 3 displays are all TN panels and are somewhat in the same price range. They're all 24-inch 1080p monitors, which in my opinion is the most optimal screen size for Counter-Strike. They also obviously all feature minimum refresh rates of 144 Hz. I didn't do anything special when it came to selecting these monitors. One of them is my daily driver. The other 2 I simply picked out because the BenQ is so damn popular and, well, the Swift is just beautiful. With that being said, let's get into the Wait, that was the introduction. Our first monitor, which happens to be the most popular one, is the BenQ Zowie XL2411. Now, at a first glance, I will mention that this baby is indeed ugly as hell, but she performs. She's the cheapest monitor in the lineup, sitting at a mere $289. There are more expensive BenQ monitors that look a lot prettier, but at the end of the day, this one seems to be the most popular and it was the cheapest. I'll also bet that it performs the exact same due to similar refresh rates, response times, and the same old TN panel. Now, out of the box, the colors were, well, horrible, but after 20 minutes or so of tweaking the monitor and my desktop's color settings, I was able to achieve a color, vibrance, and brightness balance that I would accept as acceptable. For a gamer, I wouldn't recommend any of these monitors for professional editing use due to the fact that they are TN panels. Great for gaming, not so great for showing accurate colors. The ports on the back weren't exceptionally great due to the fact that the monitor is missing a display port connection, although there is a dual-link DVI port which will suit most gamers. Not a huge deal, I'm just so used to using DisplayPort cables nowadays. I'm not even sure where any of my DVI cables are. Other than that, there's not too much to say. You can go ahead and pay an extra $60 if you want a more aesthetic version of this monitor with a DisplayPort, but if you're fine with rocking a DVI port, I'd say stick with this guy right here. I'll be blunt and say that I will not use this monitor as my daily driver due to the fact that I love sexy looking monitors. But I'm pretty sure BenQs are the most popular monitors among pro CSGO players, and with that being said, it's hard to say that they aren't great pieces of technology. BenQs are also at most of the Counter-Strike tournaments, so if I were competing, I definitely want to use the monitor I'm going to be competing on year-round. However, I'm not an aspiring pro, and I don't see myself going to a CSGO tournament anytime soon. All in all, it is a great monitor, and I would recommend it. The next monitor that we're going to be looking at is the Asus ROG Swift PG248Q. Now, I want to start off by saying this is a really difficult monitor to review because it looks so beautiful, but I don't think it's worth it. This monitor ran me $425 on Amazon, and for most Counter-Strike players, they don't care about G-Sync. The only thing you're getting with this monitor over the BenQ is better looks and G-Sync. That's it. And most players don't even use G-Sync on Counter-Strike. Many players argue that it adds input lag. So Chris, if the monitor isn't worth it, then why is it your new daily driver? Because it looks great, right? We're all gear people. We all love monitors. We all love keyboards. The only reason I'm upgrading to this monitor from the Predator is just because it looks cool, right? I mean, there's a $200 Asus monitor that has 144 Hz on Amazon. Check it out right now. That monitor will probably perform just as well as any of these monitors, and it is literally half the price. Upgrading to a top tier monitor like this is for nothing more than looks and just wanting to have a new piece of gear that we're really fond of, right? It's just like getting a new keyboard. You might not need one, but you want something new. The last monitor that we're going to be taking a look at is the Acer Predator XB241H. Now, there really isn't much I can say about this monitor compared to the Swift. So you can overclock the Swift to 60 or 160 Hz. You can overclock this one to 180 Hz. I never took advantage of that. I don't know why. I guess I'm just a believer that you can't detect that kind of a difference. But if you want to overclock these monitors, you have that ability and you should take advantage of it. And this monitor looks great. I mean, once again, it should. It's $400. The ports on the back are awesome. You have an HDMI, a display port. Out of the box, the colors look pretty bad, but just like any other monitor, you can work with it and have it look near flawlessly. And yeah, it's a great monitor. I've never had any issues with it. It's just $400. And for $400, is it worth it? I don't think so. I don't want this review to seem cynical in the sense that I'm just completely shutting down every cool monitor that I look at. Look, I own all three of these monitors, okay? So yes, they're worth it if they bring you satisfaction. But what I'm trying to say is you don't need to spend $400 to get a good gaming monitor. Check out the one on screen right now. It's extremely cheap and it's extremely good. I don't know how well G-Sync works in Counter-Strike just because you can get super high FPS and on a 144 Hz monitor, you shouldn't experience any screen tearing. But if you want to look that up, you should go do that on a more technical channel. But in my recommendation, I recommend you get the Predator, right? Because you can overclock it to 180 Hz and it looks really good. I used the Predator for my daily driver for about 6 months and now I'm just switching over to the ROG. But that's the end of the review, guys. So I hope you did enjoy it. I'm planning to review a lot of other stuff. I'm not really sure what else there's to review other than monitors, and I'm also sorry about the really bad camera angles. I spent all day filming the video you guys saw yesterday, so I was pretty exhausted. I know, shitty thing to say, but if you guys do want to see another type of review, just let me know what to review and I will see you guys in the next one.